War in the Middle East. 14 months into the war. Why could it be the last war for humanity, at least against each other? Shalom, salam. I am Sagi. Welcome back to my channel. So I am broadcasting directly from Israel, from the northern part of Israel, from the Galilee, not so far from the border with Lebanon. We are now 14 months into the war that started on October 7, 2023. And a lot has changed, and actually nothing has changed at the same time. We are still bombarded. There are still constant attacks of both sides, of course. And today I would like to talk about what has changed in people's minds as I see them and encounter them here in Israel, including the information that we are getting through social media from Gaza and from Lebanon, and through my contacts around the world. So people are talking, you probably have heard it, about the apocalypse, Armageddon, Gog and Magog war, the last war. All of this has been prophesied in the Old Testament, probably also in the New Testament, and in other scriptures, old scriptures around the world. And apparently this is, you know, the Big Bang, the war of light and darkness, what has been happening for eons of times, actually, and just has been repeating itself again and again and again. So when we look about on the Kabbalah and how the Kabbalah is perceiving things, we are just about to finish the 6th day. Every day is supposed to take 1,000 years, and then we are supposed in about 200 years to enter the 7th day, which will mean 1,000 years of quietness, of hopefully happiness, of big kumbaya, nourishment, and the days of the Messiah, right? Which is also, the talk is that this is the times of the second coming for those who believe that Jesus was the first Messiah. For the others that are still waiting for the Messiah, they believe that he is already here and he is supposed to reveal itself or himself or herself and then provide us again with another 1,000 years of rejuvenation and peace. Now, that aside, regardless if you are believing in this or not, I can already see how this is affecting people's mindset. Either they believe in that or not. People are fed up with war. People around me have been grind down to the bare minimums of their capacity, mental capacity, as well as emotional capacity, and of course many are paying also physically, either with their lives or with anxiety, or just even, you know, financial disruption, which is all around here since the war started. So people are paying a heavy price. But due to social media, technology, AI, and other advanced possibilities that we have nowadays, we can communicate our feelings across the world. And people are sharing, and people are finally stepping up and talking openly about how they feel and how they are tired of this, and how they are just a small part of what's going on, and that they themselves, and I'm talking about the people, they themselves do not want war. I even heard recently Benjamin Netanyahu, the head of state of Israel, saying that Israel doesn't want war, which is amazing, which was for me, you know, an epiphany. Finally, somebody from the higher ranks, right, is talking directly to the people and talking about the fact that nobody wants war. There are probably some organizations that profit from that. And to me, these are the ones that we should target, that we should aim at with all of this open media. Why? Because we are still seeing across the world attacks on civilians, on bystanders, on people that are just either Jewish or from Israel or left-wing or this wing, or just have different sets of mind, maybe even different belief system. But actually, where we are supposed to aim, and we should aim our pressure, our frustration, our need for change or motivation to change, there should be organizations that are supporting war, that are initiating war, that are talking war. And I see it on big organizations out there that profit directly from war, either that big pharma or weapon production. Those organizations are directly profiting from war, chaos, and conflict. There are those that speak war, that supposed to represent God. I'm speaking about people from religion organizations that's supposed to speak the word of God, but somehow divert it into separation, into confusion, and actually creating division between us. And this is funny to me because it makes no sense. Because those people themselves are supposed to represent the one God, right? The concept of unity, which started with Abraham almost 4,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago approximately. And this concept is saying that all of this is unified, right? That there's one source to this creation. If this is the case, then how could it be us versus them? How could it be people that believe in a different God? How is it possible? It's probably possible that there are different concepts of the same unity, different way to see it, look at it, understand it, and move forward towards it. But we are all still under this big umbrella that is called creation and creator. So it's funny and probably also illogic that some religious people, and other people as well, not only from religion of course, are consciously or unconsciously creating that separation between us and them. It doesn't make sense. It cannot exist in a world that is coming from the same source, right? We are all belonging to the same source. We are all coming from the same source, and we will all return to the same source. So this is the word that we need to speak to help people understand that we probably just see things differently. We understand things differently, and this is not wrong. On the contrary, this allows us to have a different aspect of the same source of God, of creator, of creation. I like to give an example of the human body, right? The human body, my body, your body, her body, his body, we all share the same things. We have the same form, and each of us consider ourselves as individual in this one specific form, but that form looks a bit differently or slightly differently between me and you, between you and her, between her and him, right? We are still humans, But each of us looks a bit differently. Another thing is what we are compromised of. Our body has a heart, a brain, a liver, lungs. It has a blood system to it. It has an immune system to it. It has a digestive system to it, right? Thousands of those, hundreds of limbs and organs, billions, hundreds of billions of cells that are operating simultaneously. But all of this is happening in one body, right? Imagine that the liver will start fighting with the lungs and say, hey, my way is the way to the one, to source. Imagine the kidneys would protest and say, no, we know best because we are responsible of cleanliness. It's our way and our way only. It doesn't make sense, right? I hope you guys are laughing right now with me because it doesn't make sense. If something like this should happen, the body will collapse sooner or later. It will develop diseases and it will die. It will stop functioning. And I guess this is what is happening in the world right now. We are not functioning as a unity. We are fighting between ourselves, and therefore we are not seeing the higher potential of this creation. Right? Imagine that we will start working together instead of working against each other. Imagine that we will start accepting that each of us, each individual, as well as each nation or each race or each people, has its own uniqueness and own special powers. And when we come together, we create something bigger. We create something amazing. We can move this creation to its next level on its evolutionary path. Imagine that for a second. Right? It's beyond actually our imagination. We don't even know what is the capacity and the capability of such happening. But this will be grandiose. This will be amazing. So this is what is happening right now. People are starting to wake up to the higher potential. People are starting to wake up through the fact that they are tired of war. They are tired of the conflict. The majority of the people are super tired of the conflict. They don't want conflict. I see it on my neighbors, on people around me, people of Israel, people in Gaza that are starting to TikTok and produce other information on social media, people in Lebanon. The majority have nothing to do with what's happening right now. I had the great honor to work with Arabs and Muslims from different corners of the world when I lived in Germany. And I worked closely with those people. Those people became friends and even like family members. And we are all, on the base of things, we all want the same things. We want to live in peace and harmony. We all want our children to strive. We all want to be able to nourish our children and ourselves. This is fundamental to every human being, And this should be the force that unites us, because apparently we all have the same trajectory, we all have the same goal, to live in prosperity and in harmony. And this is the pressure that we need to put on those ones that are apparently elected, or on those organizations that apparently influence governments and other people that are in charge. We have the power because we have the means, right? We are the ones that providing them with our votes in the elections, or we spend money in purchasing their merchandise. We then have the power to say, hold on, things have to be different. And there's a guarantee that through this everything will boom, everything will blossom, everything will prosper. War can only prosper certain amount of people and organization. Peace, harmony, sharing will prosper everybody. Imagine that. You've probably played games where there's no one winner, where there are many winners. That is what is waiting for humanity. Enough of those games that there's only one person at the end of the race. There are already those games where it's all of us. It's a win-win situation. This is what I'm starting to see in people, to hear from them. That gives me hope. And I want to share this hope, this message of hope with you guys. And you, my friends, that are in the international community, please, if you want to influence this, then aim your frustration or your understanding or your capabilities, aim it towards those that are on top, that are moving the strings. Because the ones in the bottom or the middle part of things, the silent majority, so to say, nobody wants war. They want prosperity. They share the same vision as you guys, just maybe a slightly different understanding. So let's come together in that, and let's really understand who's influencing the situation right now, the situation that has been going on for thousands of years here on earth. And we push back and we say, no, I take the power, I claim back my own power. You cannot take the power from me, and you cannot keep on telling me how things should be done, because I have a connection to source. I have a connection to my own heart. And I can feel what love means. I can feel what harmony means. And I want to share that with the rest of you guys, with my brothers and my sisters. For we are all just single cells in a bigger body that is called Earth, creation, and Creator. Thank you, my friends. Shalom.